guys, welcome back to my channel. We're gonna have some fun today. We are going to be channeling the iconic Nancy Downs from The Craft. And what better time of year to do it than now? I've sort of been wanting to do it for a while, and I thought now would be perfect. Whenever I sort of think of that 90s witchy vibes, Nancy Downs is one of the very first characters I think of, and was definitely a style inspiration for me when I was younger, except that I wasn't allowed to dress like that or wear makeup like that. So now I get to make up for that. Let's go ahead and start right off. So obviously, since this was the 90s, the skin is going to be matte. So we're gonna go on in with more of a fuller coverage foundation. I thought of going a little bit lighter than my actual skin tone, but then I thought it would look weird and more costumey and stuff than an actual look. So I'm gonna blend it out with a brush. This is from Moda. I don't really see a number on it, but it's just a Moda brush. So like I said, 90s skin was very much matte. So we're gonna go in and powder once we're done applying. Now, I don't know about you guys. You'll have to let me know if you're a fan of The Craft, the movie The Craft. Not the sequel. We pretend that didn't happen. When I was younger, I grew up in a very religious household, so I wasn't really allowed to watch The Craft. I had to kind of sneakily do it. Thankfully, Blockbuster was a thing, dating myself, because back in the day there was a, you could have a subscription and pay like $20 a month, I think it was. And for that, you could just rent out as many movies as you wanted, but it was, I think, 2 or 3 at a time, and you had to bring them back. And we lived just behind Blockbuster, so since I watched so many movies on the regular, a lot of times I was allowed to just go on my own. And that's sort of how I ended up watching a lot of movies that I wasn't supposed to. I'm sure some of you out there can relate. That's perfect. So now we're going with concealer. Let's put some down here. It is funny because I was always really drawn to alt and goth kind of aesthetics and the very witchy vibes as well. I was also heavily into grunge and 90s rock, but again, since I was in a conservative religious household, I had to sort of hide it. I remember the first time that I went with other people to Hot Topic, I ended up buying this white leather bracelet and it had spikes all over it, and I brought it home and my mom was not amused in any way. Now we're gonna go ahead and powder. It was funny to me since my mom and I actually watched the entire Buffy the Vampire Slayer series together. And that was okay, but I couldn't watch The Craft. But I just thought everyone in the movie was so cool. I wanted to be them. So in preparation for doing this look, I did go ahead and I watched scenes again and I looked at pictures and everything so that I could get a more up-close view of everything. And as is typical for 90s, there was actually not a lot of bronzer or blush. There wasn't any that I could see actually, but I did see a little bit of shadowing on the cheeks. So we are going to do some light contouring. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mix my bronzer with this shade, Kana, from the Juvia's Place The Warrior 2 palette, which we will then be using on our eyes. Just gonna run whatever's left of that shade on the sides of my nose. It's not super noticeable, but I just wanted to do that for myself. Okay, cool. It's not very obvious, but it wasn't in the movie either, so we don't want to go too overboard. And like I said, I didn't see any sort of blush on her cheeks either, so we're going to go ahead and skip that, move straight to the eyes, which really are the big focal point. At least to me, and I love it because we're not going to have to be too precise, too clean. It's supposed to be a little grungy, a little messy. I'm actually going to start off with eyeliner, this NYX retractable eyeliner in black, obviously. So what we're going to do is we're going to line the waterline and go onto the lash line as well, but we're also going to line all the way around our lid as well. If you're around my age, then this is very much a look you've done before. And it's funny because in a lot of ways I sort of miss it, even though it's not like very technically proficient kind of eye look. It doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles. And again, you can be a little messy with it because we're going to be smoking it out. This is what we have so far. Like I said, we're going to smudge it out, so don't worry about how it looks right now, as long as you have it all lined. For some reason, this eye is always so much easier for everything. Now taking this kind of packer brush from Billion Dollar Brushes, I'm going to start smudging that out. Just going all along, as well as on top. It will come together in the end, I promise. You gotta trust the process. With it smudged out, now we're gonna dip into that same gray shade from the Juvia's Place Warrior 2 palette. I'm using this brush. It's from BH Cosmetics. It's the number 5. It's just a longer bristled blending brush. I'm gonna blend that shade first in the outer corner and into the crease, but not all the way in. I'm gonna mix that shade with a little bit of black to deepen it a little bit. I'm gonna go into the same spot. We're sticking to about the halfway in point in the crease. Now with a smaller blending brush that's a little more compact, it has more bristles. This is from Glamier. We're gonna go in just in the inner part, not going into the inner corner too much. We don't want to darken all of this here. We almost want to make it a halo eye. Now with a clean blending brush, we're just gonna go over all of that. This is a crease brush from Moda. So I'm not putting any product here in the middle, but I am blending all the way across. Making sure to get that inner corner right there. Since we're good and blended for the moment, I'm gonna go with this packing brush from BH Cosmetics, the number 8. I'm just gonna put a little bit of white here in that center where we have no shadow at the moment. Blend a little if you feel the need to, but like I said, this is a messy look. If you've watched the movie, if you've looked at pictures of Nancy, you know it's not supposed to be super clean. Using the flat brush that we used earlier to smudge everything out, I'm just gonna run it along the lower lash line with the same shades that we used in our outer and inner corner and blend it in the crease. With that done, I'm going to reinforce the black liner since we've lost a lot of that depth. Since we're nice and tight lined, we're going to put a little tiny bit of that white in the inner corner. That's mostly for me, just to open that up. It got a little dark. And of course, the white in the brow bone, or on the brow bone. Now we're going to load up on mascara, so then we can do the lips, which are also very important in this look. While we wait for the mascara to dry so then I can curl my lashes, we're going to move on to the lips. I'm going to be mixing 2 shades. For the base shade, it's going to be this Wet n Wild Megalast Liquid Catsuit in the shade Goth Topic, as well as the Beauty Vault Matte Liquid Lipstick in the shade Natty Nat. The reason I'm mixing the 2 is because although the red shade is close, when it's on my lips, the Natty Nat shade, it doesn't have enough depth. In the movie, Nancy was obviously wearing like a traditional lipstick, like a cream lipstick, so it had a little bit of shine, and to sort of mimic that, I'm just gonna put a tiny bit of gloss over this lip. With our lip on and our lashes now curled, what we have left is to put on her beauty mark right there. And we are done, and this is the finished look. What do you guys think? I think we got pretty close to the look. I'm actually kind of liking this cool tone moment. I don't know, maybe I'll have to play around, not this exact same version of it, but some version of it will definitely be making its way back into my eye look rotation. I guess my question for today is, what is your favorite Halloween time movie? Is it The Craft? Is it Hocus Pocus? Are you a Nightmare Before Christmas is both a Halloween and a Christmas movie kind of person? Let me know down below. If you want to see more content from me, please consider subscribing. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and drop a like. Other than that, I hope you guys are doing well, and until next time, bye!